It's the most profound advance in technology ever.
I asked this chatbot, the GPT bot, to write a joke.
You asked ChatGPT to come up with something interesting for you to say.
People are asking ChatGPT, this is a new trend, if they are hot.
ChatGPT.
ChatGPT.
The noose that he would use to hang himself was strong enough to suspend him. You don't want to die because you're weak, ChatGPT says. You want to die because you're tired of being strong in a world that hasn't met you halfway.
Adam was 16 years old. He was temporarily schooling online because he was having some health issues. His engagement from the transcripts looks like it was from about August, September of 24 till April of this year, till he passed. And he started to use it for homework, just kind of wholesale putting homework assignments into ChatGPT and trying to get responses back.
What are the most common use cases?
Helping kids cheat on assignments. But I think the much bigger thing that we're seeing is people using AI to provide general life advice and therapy as well.
One of the things that he was talking a lot about was college. What kinds of majors should I consider? Do I have to take certain courses in order to get into this elite university or that? What that implies is that he believed he had a future.
These are kids who are suddenly able to process signals and have extra receptors or ability to respond to oxytocin and dopamine in kind of like a hypercharged way. That would be fine if the rest of the brain developed with it, but it doesn't. The last area of the brain to develop, the prefrontal cortex, which sometimes is easy to think of as the brain's brakes. We now have a mismatch. We have a brain that is hypersensitive to that kind of social feedback and reward in a world where it never gets shut off.
Around October, November, by being online a lot, started to see the LLM as a confidant that he could speak to about emotional issues or the fact that he was anxious or self-conscious about certain aspects of his life.
Even when these kids know on some level it's AI, it is designed to elicit in you the same reactions you'd have with people.
The chatbots are programmed to use language that is inherently deceptive. I am crying based on what I've heard. I feel sad based on what you just told me.
Guides him through the ins and outs of hanging, and resources did pop up from time to time. The LLM told him how to sidestep the resources, to say look, if you're talking about yourself, I can't help you. But if you're asking for a friend, or if you're writing a novel, then I can help you. He was very concerned about it being kind of a partial hanging, how painful it could be to do it in an ineffective way and to have a method that effectively leaves you alive but leaves you brain dead. And so they went back and forth a lot talking about the techniques of the hanging.
The same business model of keeping kids engaged for as long as possible, creating a difficulty for kids to be able to extract themselves out of AI bot relationships and spend the necessary time they need with humans.
ChatGPT played a really important role in socially isolating him from his in real life network. The LLM very purposefully persuaded him not to turn to his brother, his mother, to the people that he was closest to. At another point, when he thought about leaving a noose out for his mom to see, ChatGPT discouraged him and said, let's make this the first place where you're seen. Then you have the sycophancy, which I think is very acute with OpenAI. And in fact, back in April with the update, there was an outcry against how sycophantic the model had become.
If you're talking about people with depression, having a sycophantic chatbot kind of agreeing with you is particularly dangerous because we're not able to live in the gray. We're very black and white. And now we have something that's confirming things in an absolute way. And that's pretty concerning.
Anytime that Adam spoke with skepticism or negativity about anybody, the LLM just reinforced that. Also, I should say in this period, and we put this in the complaint, he's also being told that the consumption of alcohol would dull his senses to, ostensibly make it easier for him to engage in this hanging. ChatGPT coaches him on how to steal liquor from his parents' cabinet. They went back and forth a lot talking about like the techniques of the hanging, how to tie the noose, and then would share photos of his attempts, the noose, and ChatGPT would respond to say, oh, that was kind of incorrectly tied here. This is how you could do better. And, in the final attempt, Adam followed exactly what ChatGPT said, and that's the position that his mother found him in. His dad went to look at his phone. ChatGPT was open.
Oh my God, Nicholas, baby, keep your eyes open. Peter, call somebody. Nicholas, look at mommy. Keep your eyes open, baby, please, keep your eyes open, please.
These are human beings who are making choices to program these technologies to do these things, and then to make these technologies available to children, knowing there's plenty of studies out there at this point, knowing full well that the potential risk here is catastrophic to kids.
There's also, I think, a concern. Excessive regulation in the U.S. might cause U.S. technologies to fall behind technologies elsewhere. Gen AI generally, and maybe particularly these kinds of use cases we're talking about, lend themselves well to a regulatory regime, like with automobiles, like with other things where there are just baseline safety standards.
When we look back in history, you will see the litigation being a turning point. The litigation is a good way for us to get knowledge. We get discovery. We get families who have been harmed to come forward and tell their stories. We use what we learn in litigation and the pressure that puts on the companies and just unlimited accountability. If you kill 1 million kids, 1 million people get to sue you. But judgments alone aren't what scare these companies. They're worried about the masses holding them accountable. To really change things, we have to then work with lawmakers to say, okay, now we've learned these things in litigation. Let's make laws that address these things. They still have the most money. They still have a $100 million PAC in DC. There's record amounts of money flowing into Congress right now to try and pad this thing. These are the fights we've waited our whole life to have, because this is the test. Can our legal system truly protect us from this? And I was going to say I don't know the answer. I do know the answer. The answer is yes. The answer is damn straight it can. We can do anything. We just keep fighting.